Hello students, this is Professor Dr. Moina Akhtar Mughal from Dr. Emekazi Institute of Chemistry, University of St. Joshua. So previously I was discussing with you XRD analysis and X-ray diffraction, you can call it, and then I have explained you what is diffraction. That was my last topic which I discussed with you. So today I'm going to jump to the next section. That is something you must be knowing about what is a crystal system, right? And what is a unit cell, right? What are crystal lattices, right? So these are the basic things, basic terms which a student is supposed to be knowing before jumping into the whole process of XRD instrumentation, right? What are the different types of crystals, what is crystallography, and what is the arrangement of atoms in crystal, how they are arranged, because as I told you before, that when the atoms are arranged in a order, they form a crystal, right? So today I'm going to explain you what is a unit cell. The unit cell is basically a repeating unit. I was telling you about the unit cell. So the repeating unit of the lattice is called a unit cell. It repeats itself to form a crystal, right? And unit cell of the crystal cell structure is the smallest. Now unit cell has you can say has different edges like A, B and C with different angles between them, that is alpha, beta and gamma. Now again the unit cell is further divided into two major parts, that is primitive and centered. Now when the particles, what is primitive and what is centered? When the particles are present at corners of a unit cell, and it is called, you can call it a primitive type, whereas when the particles are you can say present at random positions on the corners in the space, they are called centered. Now the further the centered is unit cells are further subdivided into other forms, other different forms, that is number one, face centered, body centered and end centered unit cell systems. So this was something about the unit cell. Now I would like to tell you what is lattice. Lattice is simply a separation between the layers of the different atoms that are orderly arranged inside the crystal. These are called the lattice, right? So now crystal lattice, let's jump to the crystal lattice. It is simply a three-dimensional array of atoms or particles as different points in a space, you can say, or separation between the layers describes a lattice. This is again a very interesting definition for this. Now there are 14 different lattices that are up till now been founded by Brévis. Brévis was a French mathematician who formed these 14 types of lattices. Now what are those 4 types? This is cubic lattice, tetragonal lattice, orthorhombic lattice and monoclinic lattice, right? And etc. So they have their typical, you can say, shapes, and we will discuss them in detail in my next video, inshallah. So now I will jump to the next section, that is crystal systems. Up till now there are 230 forms of crystal systems, and they are further subdivided into 32 different types, right, in accordance with the symmetry, and then they are further classified into 7 more crystallographic forms relying on ABC, that is the crystallographic framework having angles between them as A, B and C, which I just explained. Now what are those crystal systems? These are further these are named as cubic, tetragonal, orthorhombic, hexagonal, monoclinic, triclinic and rhombohedral. So these were the different forms of the crystals which I just explained you. So this all describes as these are all, they all come under the category of crystal systems or crystal framework, right? So this was a brief review of crystal systems, crystal lattice, and what is a unit cell, and what are the types of the unit cells, and these are the short topics which I just discussed with you people. Now in my next lecture, I'm going to explain you with the 3D drawings all these things which I explained to you today verbally. I'm going to draw on the board to show you exactly how they do look like, and how the three-dimensional figures, they convey you these ideas in a much better form, and you'll be able to understand them, that what happens when an X-ray it hits a crystal, and how it is you can say diffracted, right? And what happens when it touches or enters or hits the first atom, and what happens when it goes a little bit more deeper inside and it hits the second atom inside, and it covers some sort of a distance there. And what is that distance, right? And there are you can say two angles they are produced, which is a part of a trigonometry, which has something to do with sine theta, cosine theta, and we know that what is sine theta? Sine theta equals to perpendicular upon hypotenuse. So these were the things which are, this is all these are correlated. Trigonometry and chemistry and these crystal forms, these are all the types that are all interconnected. So I will try to make you understand all these terms, that how it is related to that, and then we will discuss the Bragg's equation, and I will solve the Bragg's law. I will explain you the Bragg's law, how it explains the XRD process, right? So whereas the Bragg's diffraction, actually it results from a constructive way of interference when the quantity is 2D sine theta. It has to do with 2D sine theta. So what is 2D sine theta? That is, I was just discussing with you about those two distances that are covered by the X-rays when they hit the first atom, that is on the surface, and then it goes a little bit more deeper inside, and the distance becomes a bit larger. The distance becomes double, and you can say, and we can imagine to make two different triangles having and a triangle, right angle triangles, and right angle triangles, they'll be having the thetas there, that is the angle 90 degrees, opposite to 90 degrees is the theta, and that right angle triangle it will tell you, you will get that sine theta from that right angle triangles there, because as the distance is doubly covered, so the d sine theta will be doubled also, and it will become 2d sine theta. So these things I'm just telling you verbally as just to give you some knowledge what we will be discussing in our next lecture. So it will be a little bit more interesting, and I have drawn all these things here also. You can see them. I can show you here. I've drawn all these things here, how it is going to be like that, right? So these are all my handwritings and my drawings, and how this is simply, you can see the X-rays, they are emerging from the source, they are hitting the first atom, and then they are going a little bit more deeper, and that triangle is there, and then the formation of 2D. So students, I was discussing with you the unit cell and the crystal systems previously. So today there is a question that arises in my mind, that why is it so that a crystal diffracts X-rays, right? Whereas if you take any other material, it is not going to diffract the way the crystal does. Why is it so that a crystal diffracts X-rays? So it is simply that the crystal lattice, that is the crystal, that is what is lattice, I just explained you, that is the separation between the layers. Those separations between the layers, if they are of the same order as X-rays or as the X-rays wavelength, these layers will act as diffraction gratings and for those X-rays, and that's why crystal simply it diffracts X-rays, right? So because the separation between the lattice layers will work as diffraction gratings for the X-rays, and that is why only this is the reason that crystals will diffract X-rays. So this was something very interesting, and a question that arises in my mind that somebody can ask you even, that why is it so that crystal diffract X-rays? So this was the main reason, that simply it is because I just told you the reason, that the separation between them is of the same order as the you can say X-rays wavelength, and these layers will act as diffraction gratings. They will act as diffraction gratings. Remember this point. These layers will act as diffraction gratings, and that's why these X-rays you can say for the gratings for the X-rays, and that's why these crystals will diffract the X-rays.